Welcome back to Switch to Linux and the weekly news roundup. Today we'll be covering privacy and security news. Learn about all of those fun little things like Apple wanting to report our mental state. That's right. That's right, guys. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right on in. First, this is actually a good thing. Android 6 and up will start stripping unused apps permissions. So if you have apps on your phone that you do not boot into on a regular basis, I believe the period of time is 2 weeks, it will auto reset the app permissions. So if an app is not being used for 2 weeks and you open it back up, it will have reset all the permissions and you will have to reconfirm the permissions you would like to give the app. If it's an app you're using on a regular basis, it will not do that. This is an excellent thing because it is making sure that apps are not collecting a bunch of data in the background. So if only this meant that we were getting to be less evil here. Yeah, this is the company that removed "Don't be evil" from their company slogan. So we have to keep that in mind. But this is a nice feature. If you do not use an app for a couple weeks, it is going to reset everything. And next time you boot it up, it's going to ask you to confirm which permissions you would like to use. Well, that's the good news for privacy. Sorry, that's all we have. Facebook troll farms reached 140 million Americans a month on Facebook before the 2020 most integrated election in the world. And what happened here is that some research went into seeing where all of these, the different links and likes and things on Facebook were. And they found out that depending on the demographic, most of the most interacted with or not as much most interacted with, but most of the most recommended posts were all from troll farms still. So I thought Facebook was having this big problem after the 2016, but apparently they didn't. So we're not going to read the name of that because we do try to be family friendly on this show. But this is the top troll farm that targets, I believe, African Americans. Started in October 2019, remains active, and they are the most recommended. So the revelations of this report include, as of October 2019, around 15,000 Facebook pages with majority U.S. audience were run out of Kosovo and Macedonia, known bad actors during the bad election. That was 2 elections ago. Collectively, those troll farm pages, which the report treats as a single page for comparison, reached 140 million U.S. users and 360 million global users weekly. Walmart's page was the second largest with 100 million. So, yeah, Walmart's getting beat out by troll farms. So the troll farms combined to have the largest Christian American page on Facebook, 20 times larger than the next largest, reaching 75 million users, 95% of whom had never followed any of the pages. Largest African American page on Facebook, 3 times larger than the next largest, reaching 30 million users. 85% had never followed any of the pages. And the second largest Native American page on Facebook, reaching 40,000 users monthly, 90% of whom had never followed the pages. I think that the Native American one is actually the best demographic in this report. The 5th largest women's pages on Facebook, reaching 60 million U.S. users monthly, 90% had never seen them. We actually have some charts down here. So this is your African American groups. So troll farms, the yellows are troll farms, the white are allegedly accurate ones. And then here's your top Christian pages. You can see all of these are pretty much guideposts, of course, if you're not familiar with, is a very popular Christian devotional that is legitimate content there. I actually have friends who have been published in guideposts several times. And so, but everything else here is all just troll farms because Christians are very gullible. We need to start voting no, particularly I'm speaking to you Baptist churches out there. Vote no occasionally when some of these things show up. And here you can see where I say the Native Americans are in the best shape. There's really only a couple pages here that are not bad. And what I don't see on here is the First Nations Bible translation page, because that's definitely trolly. Yeah. So with that, Facebook is still pushing a bunch of garbage that people never sign up to see, and that's because that's who they happen to be. Well, Google Chrome has a new controversial idle detection API. So all of you people working for companies that are forcing you to install certain software on their computers, this API will allow you to tie that software into your browser, and the browser will report back via API if you're actually idle on the computer. This is a big controversial thing. Even Mozilla is coming out going, guys, this is a really stupid idea. Apple even said the same thing. But basically, this is so ripe for abuse because now you can have an application tying into the API to determine if you're actually using it or not. This is huge in the corporate world where people are wanting to install and force install software on your computer. And I got news, if you're working from home and you got a company that's like, all right, you have to use Google Chrome and install this, say, I'm sorry, because of my advanced knowledge of computer security, I cannot run Google Chrome on my computer. You're going to have to allow the fact that I'm going to run Firefox, LibreWolf, or Brave, or something other than Google Chrome. Sorry, you might be risking your job, but that's probably worth it rather than bowing over to this nonsense. If I remember correctly, let's see. I think this is the quote from Mozilla. It's currently specified, I consider the idle detection API to be too tempting of an opportunity for surveillance capitalism motivated websites to invade an aspect of the user's physical privacy, keep long-term records of physical user behaviors, discerning daily rhythms, and using that for proactive psychological manipulation, hunger, emotion, choice, etc. In addition, such course patterns could be used by websites to serendipitously max out local compute resources for proof of work computations, wasting electricity, cost of user, and increasing the carbon footprint. Got to get those climate change guys into there, without the user's consent or perhaps even awareness. And that really is the big problem, is that how many people are even aware that Google Chrome now can detect how idle your computer is and report that stuff back. So bravo to Mozilla for taking a stand against that. But there you have it. Here's your app, web, GPU, API, platform OS. You can see what we have going on there. So that's kind of dystopian kind of garbage there, that Google Chrome now wants to determine how busy you are on your computer. And finally, I wanted to read this from I think it was a Wall Street Journal article, but they paywalled it. I literally read it this afternoon, but they paywalled it from this afternoon to today. So same browser, same computer and everything. I don't know. But anyway, Apple reportedly researching ways for the iPhone to monitor common mental health conditions, including depression. I will also remind you that today, I believe, it was either yesterday or today, Congress had passed the red flag gun confiscation laws. So now what if Tim Cook reports back via your iPhone that you're in a mentally unstable condition and you get a little knock on your door and the police come and confiscate your guns? Just letting you know the world we're moving into here, guys. So anyway, machine learning could analyze data from many iPhones' existing sensors to detect early warning signs. So this is a collaboration with University of California, Los Angeles, and a project for Apple is called Seabreeze, and is called Pi in the company named Biogen. So basically, it's this brand new pharmaceutical company called Biogen that is working with Apple to turn everybody's Apple devices into an experimental thing. Did any of you guys receive the notification that you are now being part of a human trial? I think some people need to go to jail now because that is actually against federal law to conduct human experiments on people without their known consent. I'm talking to you also, Facebook, who likes doing that kind of stuff. But the idea here is that they're working with this big company called Biogen to utilize the Apple sensors and detect if you are mentally ill. And then who knows, they'll be able to do something with that, like, alert the local law enforcement based upon your current location data. So the local law enforcement can come and confiscate all your firearms. So There you have it, guys. Apple does not have any business doing this any more than they have any business searching your phone for CSAM or any of that other crap. Apple needs to sell their devices and keep their devices there. If you still think Apple is about privacy, I'm sorry. There are some serious problems that they're doing. So these are things to keep in mind. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. I'm promoting my affiliate for Mint Mobile today. This is a prepaid cell phone plan. It utilizes T-Mobile towers, so be aware of that. Check your local T-Mobile maps. For the most part, I get very good service about everywhere. I get very good service compared to Verizon or other ones as well, and it's only cost me about $15 a month. You pay for it all up front, and then I'm actually doing the 4 gigabytes of data a month, which is perfect for me. Even living in the van, I still don't go over that, so I don't use my phone for much anyway. You can get up to unlimited plans, which I think allows you to have 35 gigabytes of monthly data before it throttles you down a little bit. But very nice options here: 4 gig, 10 gig, 15, and the unlimited. And the mobile hotspots in these work very well. They don't throttle your mobile hotspots. Anyway, tlm.li/mm if you want to have a look at Mint Mobile. Now, guys, let's have a look at some security news. Well, first up in security news, we just have a brief update. If you happen to have any of these 11 Netgear routers, patch it immediately. There is a exploit that will allow people to take advantage of it, and it deals with a flaw in the parental controls. So our 6400 V2, 6700, 6700 V3, 6900, 6900P, 7000, 7000P, 7850, 7900, 8000, RS400. Go ahead and have a look at the sticker on the bottom and decide whether or not you are affected, and go and patch your router today. Well, let's go on to the next one. The nation-state espionage group breaches Alaska's Department of Health. This is why I am just completely against having all of these medical records on computerized systems. Sure, it might make things a little bit more convenient, but there's some serious problems, and most of the people running these systems just don't know what in the world they're doing. Of course, if you could stick this grizzly bear on them all, that would just be hilarious. I might pay to watch that. But this breach happened on, I think it was May 2nd. They notified Homeland Security May 5th. They shut the systems down immediately, but it is believed that in the 3-day windows, attackers had access to personal data, which is constitutes a breach of HIPAA and Alaska Personal Information Protection Act. And full names, birth dates, social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, driver's license numbers, internal identifying numbers, health information, financial information, historic information concerning a person's interaction with Department of Homeland Security. Well, that's interesting. This is the type of database that should not be on the internet. Okay, it should not be on the internet. Done. Keep it off, because these guys get in there and what's their approach? Oh, we're going to give you a year of credit monitoring service. Okay, let me tell you guys something. Credit monitoring services are useless garbage. They don't do anything. You can monitor your credit. The best thing you can do is freeze your credit and stop borrowing money. All right. These credit monitoring services are completely useless because they get this information. They realize that the standard protocol is to give people 1 year of credit monitoring. Most people think it's a bunch of garbage nonsense, which it is. So they cancel it after the 1 year if they haven't bothered to set it up at all. And then a year and 5 days later, the criminals get out there and just start utilizing the identities in fraudulent ways. This is a bunch of nonsense. No, the state needs to be seriously held accountable for even maintaining such a database. But I guess that's that. Well, the FBI actually had a decryption key from ransomware attacks, but they chose not to give it to the businesses so that they didn't tip their hand to the hackers that they were onto them. So this is yet again another case of the FBI being absolutely amazing. I mean, if they're not formulating plots to kidnap governors and basically organizing a fake rally at the government in Washington, D.C., then they're over here running CP websites. They did that for a while, if you remember. They ran a CP website, including the entire uploading, distribution, all that kind of stuff of the CSAM stuff that Apple's looking for. They did that for a while. And now people who are hit with ransomware stuff, the FBI could have helped them get their stuff back, but they're like, we're not going to bother. We got to track these guys down. Let the businesses suffer, because that is how amazing the FBI happens to be. They refrained for almost 3 weeks from helping to unlock computers of hundreds of businesses and institutions hobbled by a major ransomware attack this summer, even though the Bureau had secretly obtained the digital key needed to do so, according to several current and former U.S. officials. Key was obtained through access to the servers of the Russian-based criminal gang behind the July attack. Deploying it immediately could have helped the victims, including schools and hospitals, avoid what analysts estimate was millions of dollars in recovery costs. But the FBI held onto the key with agreement with other agencies, in part because it was planning to carry out an operation to disrupt the hackers, a group known as Revol, and the Bureau did not want to tip them off. Also, a government assessment found the harm was not as severe as initially feared. The plan to take down never occurred in mid-July, as Revel's platform went offline without the U.S. government intervention, and the hackers disappeared. And by the way, they're back. But yeah, there you are. There is our amazing government. And people are like, why don't you trust the government? Well, because they do crap like this. That's why. Well, this is auto-discovering the Great Leak. This is another huge leak in the Autodiscover protocol in Outlook. The Autodiscover protocol is designed to make it easy to set up your email clients, because we've become so buffoonish that we can't even understand, what's an incoming server? What's the difference between IMAP and POP3? I don't know what my settings could be. So they add this auto-discover nonsense and everything so the client can look at your email address, go into the DNS records, and automatically configure everything, and you, like a monkey, just have to put in your password. Oh, excuse me. This is Microsoft, so you just enter your biometric data now, because who wants those useless passwords? Well, apparently there was a huge leak in such nonsense, and in this leak, the Autodiscover protocol leaked so bad they were actually able to rip all of the passwords out and match them up with your individual email addresses. So, yeah, that was problematic. Maybe Autodiscover is something we should do away with, and maybe people should have to put up with the crazy, crazy difficult task of learning what an email server is, because wowzers, folks, what could possibly be a server, an incoming server host and an outgoing server host? Oh, this is so difficult. I got news for you. It's probably mail.yourdomainname.com. It could be smtp.domainname.com or imap.yourdomainname.com. I mean, I know this is challenging stuff, but I'm telling you, it leads to having stuff like this, which is easily breachable. And finally, we have a ransomware attack on a farming co-op that may cause a food shortage. And these guys are trying to communicate like cute little buffoons with the hackers, being like, your website says you don't hit critical infrastructure, and we're critical infrastructure. We make food. I mean, it's a really good thing that our faker-in-chief told the Russian hackers who not to hit. Pretty please, guys, don't hit these guys in your cyber attacks. Yeah. So anyway, Black Matter says it doesn't hit critical infrastructure. The ransomware group Black Matter has hit a new cooperative and is demanding $5.9 million to provide a decryptor, according to screenshots shared online by threat intel analysts. Quote, your website says you do not attack critical infrastructure. We are critical infrastructure intertwined with the food supply and the chain in the U.S. We are not able to recover very shortly. There is going to be a very, very public disruption of the grain and pork and chicken. Oh, please, terrorist hackers, unlock us now. You can't hurt us. We're critical infrastructure. Yeah, they responded back. I think this is hilarious that the Black Matter terrorist hacker groups has a support line. What a world! What a world! You do not fall under the rules. Everyone will only incur losses. Everything is tied to the commerce. The critical ones mean the vital needs of a person, and you earn money. Since everything is so serious with you, let's come to an agreement quickly and solve everything quickly. Yeah. So here we are. We are communicating with the crazy people. Here is their rules. And now the ransomware terrorist hackers have rules. We do not attack hospitals, critical infrastructure facilities, nuclear power plants, water treatment facilities, oil and gas industry, pipelines, oil refiners, defense industry, nonprofit companies, and government sector. Oh, isn't that so nice? If you're one of these facilities that gets hit by these terrorists, you can just ask them for the decryption keys and they'll provide it because, I mean, come on, guys. What a world we're in. A bunch of crazy wussies running around like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh, apparently they threaten them. Do not threaten us. Otherwise, you will stay without decryption. I'm not threatening you. Oh, hold on. I gotta get this one. I'm not threatening you. This is pretty much out of our hands. We can't control what the regulators and U.S. government does. Impact this attack will likely be worse than the pipeline attack. Go buy your stuff from a local farmer. No one will give you decryption key for free. Look for the money. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Working with terrorists doesn't actually work. That's exciting. All right. Well, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page. Subscribestar.com/SwitchedToLinux if you'd like to help support us on over there. Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video from SwitchedToLinux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.